Right now, let's welcome our first guest, franchise consultant Marc Siebert, CEO of iFranchise. He's also the author of the book, The Guide to Employing the Greatest Growth Strategy Ever. Marc Siebert, thanks for joining us here today on The Income Generation.
Thanks for having me, David.
So as you know, our franchisees are advisors that follow our investing for income model, and their clients are our clients are the end consumer, your average investor over the age of 50. So I'd like to pick your brains for a minute and have you communicate with our viewers the benefits to franchising. And I'd like to start first with why your average customer should maybe be attracted to a franchise before they're attracted to a non-franchise based organization. And later on we can talk about the benefits for the actual franchisee. But first, the customer. What benefits, what's in it for them?
Well, the reason why a customer comes to a franchise as opposed to any other kind of business is typically that they know what to expect. They can get a consistent brand experience from one to the next. And generally speaking, the way that is beneficial is that the systems have been tested across a wide variety of different, in different markets to make sure that what's being provided is what the consumer wants. Franchising always starts with a business model that works, and a business model that works is something that works for the consumer. So
of course, we've tested it for 20 years, so we have that. How about pricing power? How does it help the consumer save money in many cases?
Well, that's just one of many advantages. The franchisor is able to negotiate preferable pricing, oftentimes on products, because they're buying in bulk, just as any large company would. The franchisor is able to sometimes get proprietary products that are unavailable elsewhere. The franchisor has the benefit of being able to know what's going to work for different consumers under different circumstances. I expect your consumers are all very different in terms of needs are from one to the next, and the ability to customize a program for those consumers would be something that is gained over the course of time and experience.
Mm-hmm. So proprietary products essentially is what I'm paraphrasing what you're saying, but also the fact that the hamburgers in one McDonald's taste the same as the hamburgers in the other. So the income-based investment strategies in one retirement income store franchise will be very similar to the other. So they've got that quality control. Maybe even pricing power saves them money. So 45 seconds we have left. Tell our viewers again, what else they need to know about franchises from a consumer standpoint, a customer standpoint.
Well, I think from a customer standpoint, the brand name and the brand recognition hopefully means that they can share an experience with a lot of other people who have gone through that exact same process. And if they are looking to learn more about how a business works and how it operates, they'll be able to find out more from people in many different markets in terms of exactly how it works and how it provides value to the customer.
So essentially, there's more transparency from the end customer to understand how things work versus a small independent boutique. Marc, we need to leave it there for this segment. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. You stay with us too. We'll be back here in a moment with the Income Generation. Now let's welcome back Marc Siebert, CEO of iFranchise and author of the book, The Guide to Employing the Greatest Growth Strategy Ever. Marc, thanks for sticking around.
Thanks for having me.
So now let's talk about the advisor. I'm sure we have some advisors watching the show. Why would an advisor be interested in buying a franchise, or anybody be interested in buying a franchise versus just doing it on their own, right? If I want to make hamburgers, why don't I just open up my own hamburger shop as opposed to buying a McDonald's franchise?
Sure. Well, again, it goes back to the proven business model that we discussed in the prior segment, David, that in a franchise operation, a franchisee is buying into a system that works, a system that has stood the test of time, where the franchisor has made the mistakes, where the franchisor has figured out what things work, what things don't work, how to better market, how to better provide product, how to, again, they'll be able to provide maybe proprietary products. They'll be able to provide advice on pricing. They'll be able to provide a more systematic approach to success.
And how about marketing leverage? I don't mean marketing as in talking somebody into buying, but marketing in its purest form, if you think about it, is education. It's educating the consumer so the consumer can make an informed decision. So if that consumer ends up getting more information because now the franchisee can afford to do more marketing, essentially, then that's good for really the franchisee and the consumer, is it not?
Oh, of course it is. And the old story about franchising is that you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. You've got a support team at the franchisor's headquarters that is actively working to try and make you successful. In the best franchise organizations, you've got an organization behind you that is really focused on franchise success. What do I need to make that franchise successful? So whether it's marketing, whether it is pricing, whether it is product selection, whether it is providing education to the consumer, and finding ways in which to make sure that the consumer is getting a great fit on whatever their ultimate deliverable is. The franchisor organization behind a franchisee can allow them to leverage the knowledge, the experience, and the time and effort of a lot of different people with different levels of expertise in different areas. And that's really the whole thing about franchising is that it's
and Mark, one of the things I think about all the time, Mark, is that in this investing for income model, there's a lot of upfront costs. There's a lot of ongoing costs that advisors need to make a pretty big investment, usually beyond their financial means, in order to be able to get into this, which is why there's so few advisors today that really specialize in income, because the barrier to entry. And isn't it true that in general, those businesses that have a lower barrier to entry, people may tend to do something more entrepreneurially, but those that have a higher financial barrier to entry, or education-wise, they might tend to go more the franchise route because it's more cost-effective, right?
Well, we actually see franchising in a lot of different segments, whether it's low investment or high investment. The real key to making a decision in terms of investing in a franchise should be based on what is your incremental return. If you're already in a similar kind of business, can you realistically project that you're going to incrementally make more money by making that investment? And if you're targeting advisors in terms of who your targeted franchisee is, these people are going to conduct a return on investment analysis and try and figure out, does this make more sense for me? Will I do better as a franchisee? And if so, what's my return on my investment?
Now, Mark, 30 seconds we have left. Some of our viewers, I'm sure, have considered starting up a franchise of their own as a franchisor. Why should they call Marc Siebert if they're considering that?
Well, we are the number one rated franchise consulting firm in the world based on a poll of 500 franchisors conducted by Entrepreneur Magazine. We've worked with a number of different clients in a number of different industries. But what we do is we help companies to first make a decision whether or not the business model is in fact franchisable. Not all businesses are. Second, we help them determine if franchising is the best strategy for them. And then third, if it is the best strategy, we will tell them, here's what the process is for becoming a franchisor. Here are the kind of costs you can anticipate. Here are the kinds of returns you can anticipate.
All right. Unfortunately, we need to leave it there for now, Mark. Thanks so much. Marc Siebert from iFranchise. Mark, thank you for being on the show. And you come back here with us. You're watching The Income Generation with David Scranton. We'll be back in a moment.